What's up, guys? My name is Blinkies. I wanted to put together a quick video for y'all on Keegan. Keegan is one of the great void bosses, kind of like these. In here, you'll, add some materials. These are just really good bosses to fight. They give really good materials. Some really common ones are like the Void Sea, the Lawbearer, that's from Cube. You've got Arcana, and some other mechanics in here. But this Tide Master is really good. You have to collect these materials from running all of the different mechanics, or you can simply purchase these off of the auction house, which is what most people do when they run Keegan. So you'll come through, install each of these. Um, to back up here for just a minute, I'm going to show you how I usually pull these up. I just come in here, type in edict, okay? And what you want to do before you run this mechanic is understand just some quick math on it, okay? So each of these, right, we can kind of price out, right? So let's just say the average here is 4.9. Okay, so we got 5 there, 5.5 here, okay, 5.4 here, right? So now we're at like 16 FE, okay? And then usually this one lines up with the combination of those other three. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. So we're looking at 32 FE to do one run, okay, on tier 2, okay? So these are the 4 materials that you need. What you have to kind of compare this to is, let's see if I can find it here really quick, this corrosion material, the familiar nexus. So if you run tier 1 Keegan, which is those left 3 materials, you have a 50% chance to get a familiar nexus. If you run tier 2 Keegan, you're guaranteed a familiar nexus. Okay, so remember, it was 32 for the materials itself, and then here I've been listing mine for about 70 FE. Something to keep in mind is that, you can price this maybe a little bit higher if you're going to post it overnight, just, comparing it to the auction over on the other side of the world. They're a lot more active over there than we are over here in the United States. Um, so, you can list all of these overnight and hopefully they sell. I've got some in my booth currently listed for, 70 FE a piece right now. I've got 17 of them. Okay. So to kind of show you, if you want to run tier 1, okay, you would insert all 3 of these here on the left. And I think this takes about like 500 billion. I might be off on that. I might be off on that damage. Ask the chat when you get in game. If you feel like you're getting kind of close, you can always, if you're not sure, if you've stacked up a ton of damage, run it. It's going to cost you 15 FE or so, but just see how it goes. Okay. That's tier 1. Tier 2, you can kind of see it'll upgrade, is you'll kind of see this little aura come here. I would say this takes 1 trillion to run. Depending on how good you are at dodging the mechanics, you get 6 lives to run. So if we come in here and fight it, we'll kind of talk through the fight just a little bit. Okay, you're gonna want to dodge some of those to start, right? So you want to be a nice distance away from all of his strikes. Okay, you're gonna want to dodge, especially early on in the season. Okay, a lot of people are gonna build up. You want to dodge those if you can, and keep your distance. He'll reset as he gets a little bit lower. Okay, you want to dodge all of the holds here off to the side, and then don't stand on the lava. Okay, but you want to be behind the shield when he shoots that out. Okay. Again, you'll probably die a little bit here early on. Whoops. And see, just like that, we died because I fat fingered my button. Okay. Again, lava, if you stand over here in this corner, you can kind of dodge those coming through the sides. You have to kind of watch the one. And then you can see he's outlined over here. If you stand opposite him in the map, you won't take damage. You can't stand off to the sides. Those you'll receive damage from. So you have to stand opposite him. So again, you're gonna get one of those nexuses. Okay, it's right here. Again, worth 70 FE, right? So 32 in, 70 back. So we're making, what is that, 38 FE a run. And then you're also going to get one of these corroded items. So tier 1 has more specific drops that it'll let through. Tier 2 will actually let through anything in the game. There are a few notable items to look for. We'll talk about those here in just a second, but you can kind of see here, this is a corroded piece. It gave me a base affix. That's cool. That's fine. Some of these are going to be worth more than others. Like this, maybe this will run for a little bit more FE. Doesn't look like there's any comparables right now, but you get the idea, right? If something's corroded, usually worth a little bit more money, especially early on. Okay. Some of the more valuable items you can get, you can check by just coming in here, create void, again, kind of enter everything in here. Okay. And then here you can see all of the items that are kind of exclusive to it. So really notable ones are like the Burning Ice. This one is usually worth about even 80 FE like right now. Frozen Flame is also really good. And then Embrace of the Dark Surge is also really good. These necklaces kind of vary in price. I don't think Supreme Throne is really worth anything at any point. But these rings are certainly worth picking up and selling. And then I often go through and just kind of once every 30 rounds, 40 rounds, kind of check all of the legendaries I have. If something looks particularly good, I'll list that. I probably have some examples here in my booth right now. Like these boots of devastation I picked up the other day. Like I saw someone was selling them for like 900 yesterday, so I was like, bet, let's go, free money. These the other day were going for 240. Now they're going for like 9. So those have obviously dropped off. And again, that's probably going to vary by your time zone and where you're at. Yesterday they were 240. Maybe somebody bought them all out, and maybe you'll have to reduce the price. But what's really important to remember about Keegan is that it's guaranteed profit. So I think for tier 1, based off of the numbers that we've got, I think if you can run a map in 60 seconds, this is really rough math. I think you can probably make about 1K an hour, 1,000 FE an hour. With tier 2, right? Because tier 1 is 50% chance to get the familiar nexus, right? But tier 2 is double the cost. So you're basically trading off time, right, for consistency, if you will, versus tier 2. Tier 2, I think you'll make like 1,500 to 1,800 just off of the nexuses. If you can sell other stuff, like I have, right? So some boots, one of those rings for 95, like an opening heart here and there, some marksman bracers for 80, some random, genius battle gear for 240. You can get some extra funds on top of that FE that you made. So it's just really good, really consistent. It'll work later on in the season as well, like right now. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Bye.